Welcome to Nerdist News Talks Back, All Kings Considered edition. Now live, last night was the second to last episode of Game of Thrones Season 7, so that means it's time to break it down. So beware, like winter, spoilers are here, and with that, let's do this! Joining us today is managing editor for Nerdist.com and the #1 Tormund Brienne shipper in the bullpen, Alicia Lutz!
Hey!
That's not entirely true, though.
I know, I kind of want them to get it on as well.
I like it. I'm into it. I think she's going to be smooching Jaime Lannister, though.
No, he's gonna die.
No, don't say such terrible things.
He is gonna die for sure.
For sure.
As well as Nerdist producer Jason Wynn, who has a few notes about the Night King's javelin skills, specifically his form and follow-through.
Ooh.
He's got to relax
notes?
more. Yep. He's got to relax more with his follow
He's too stiff.
I don't know, he's got a nice curve on that.
that.
He could have had a headshot. Could have had a headshot. Went for the heart. Damaged precious parts he could have salvaged.
I disagree.
He knew what he was
Also,
doing.
I like the curve on that. Never mind.
And you heard it first. Jess likes the curve.
Yeah.
I meant when
beneficial.
Forget
Anyway.
it. Also joining us is associate editor for God damn it for Nerdist.com and the man with his own bag of faces from everyone in the office, Kyle Anderson.
Yeah, bag of faces. We
Good
hired
old
so many
bag.
new people.
You
I'm
know.
gonna need to get new faces, which is a real bummer. But you know.
Yeah.
Old bag of faces, Anderson.
Everyone
That
calls
old
me that.
chestnut.
All right. Without getting into too many specifics, what did you guys think about last night's episode?
Incredibly underwhelming.
Ooh.
Very upset.
Biting words. Frustrating.
Savage.
It's frustrating. It's a frustrating episode to watch because it's so cool and like the setting is so wonderful and you finally get to see the Magnificent Seven happen, but then so much bullshit happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like so
Yeah.
much, and then like cutting back to Winterfell, who cares? Just
It
let
was
me
like-
see
yeah.
action.
It just
let me see it go
seemed
down.
Very average.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you can tell now.
No curve, you know. No curve to it. Straight as an arrow
hey.
that episode.
Let that die.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, just very average, very just, we were saying this a little bit earlier, you can see where George R.R. Martin definitely should be involved and isn't,
Yeah.
so, I mean, like, we can get into it, but, like, we ended up getting like, ice zombies just, it's like, oh, it's another it's more zombies.
Yeah.
It's always, how many times have I seen the slow-mo, look at all the zombies swarming us scene?
Yeah.
Every time, always, forever, and everything.
It feels like we're on a desperate rocket ship to the end, for sure.
Yeah.
It really is rocketing through. And, you know, I was happy that we got the moments that we did get with all of the Magnificent Seven as they were walking through. But it's one of those things where this whole adventure would have taken like 3 or 4 episodes in previous seasons, and now we zipped through. I mean, they stayed overnight on that island, and I barely even realized that it happened.
Yeah.
And that, like, the timing things of stuff, it really, really shows in this episode specifically. You know, I was shocked when we saw Sansa at one point being like, I haven't heard from Johns in weeks, and I was like,
Weeks?
it's been weeks?
It's been seconds.
What?
All right, well, before we give
okay.
away all the specifics, let's move on to the questions. So obviously the whole episode was building up to the Battle of the Frozen Lake. Now the second to last episode of each season of Game of Thrones does have a tendency to raise the stakes dramatically. We've got the Red Wedding, Ned Stark's beheading, etc. Was this one dragon and the shift enough?
I think these penultimate episodes generally, when it's battles of the Bastard, we had Blackwater in season 2. Those are all episodes that are just one battle from beginning to Watchers on the Wall. Like it's all very, and I was primed and ready for this to be just the Magnificent Seven the whole time.
Yeah.
Because it was an extra long episode. I was like, this is great. And then we were cutting away to other stuff, and it really felt like they were diminishing the importance of them on the mission and the fact that we didn't really have much of a sense of time of how long it was taking them, especially because, you know, they're trudging and talking and all that stuff for a while, which was fine. And then Gendry runs back
In 5 seconds.
in 5 seconds. And it's just like,
He's the Forrest Gump of Westeros, apparently? Like,
Yeah.
what is happening?
Yeah, who's never seen snow before and
Right.
ran through.
and he's run
the
through it
Yeah.
like a channel. Like he was
Yes.
born in Colorado.
Yeah, he was like.
Well, you know,
I got
he
it.
is
I
fit.
rode.
He is a
He did row
blacksmith.
for
He
6
rode
episodes. He's
forever.
got a lot of
He's got
endurance.
a lot of endurance. I mean, we'll give him that.
I do
so.
think a undead dragon changes the game finally for the undead army. I think that's huge, and I do think that is a huge like plot point.
I have been waiting for this to happen since last year. I think
Oh,
that
yeah, for
everybody
sure.
here,
You've
we've all
mentioned
been
it
talking
forever.
about it. I knew that this ice dragon was going to come. The ice dragon, to me, though, really solidifies the end game and the 3 heads of the dragon even more than anything else. And I still stand by it being Dany, Tyrion, and Jon Snow, even though the Night King currently has the Ice Dragon in his possession.
Okay, because I want to hear this rundown, because we actually said something. So, well, we delved into those territories a little bit with Talksback, or not Talksback, we're in Talksback, with Nerdist News today. And how do you see this playing out then?
So the reason why I think it's so important is kind of twofold. First of all, on a very basic level, the dragons are kind of color-coded. So Drogon is black and red, which is the Targaryen sigil. Viserion, who is now the Ice Dragon, is green and silver, which is part of the Stark banner. And Rhaegal is red and gold, which is the Lannister sigil. So here's the thing. Just because the Night King has Viserion, an Ice Dragon, does not mean he can necessarily control it, or hold it, or contain it. I think that's why they brought in these ridiculous chains that I just don't even know where they could have come from, and it's such an annoying plot point I can't get into. But we now know that Bran has a connection to the Night King. He's going to see that the Night King has this dragon. He also knows that Jon Snow's parents are not Ned and some lady. They are Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark. So he is the literal embodiment of ice and fire. And because he's got Targaryen blood, he'll be able to connect with the dragon and get on that dragon. Plus, because he's an icy boy, because he's undead / a Stark, which the Night King is also a Stark, you guys. I don't know if you saw this. This is why I think Jon Snow will ride the Ice Dragon.
Which dragon, when Jon was having his dragon moment, when Dany was there?
It was with Drogon.
It was with Drogon.
Oh, that was Drogon?
Yeah.
Okay. I was
The
thinking...
A dragon,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
I was just curious, because yeah. All right, so moving on. What happened to the 3rd dragon? I got the answer. She's like, fuck this,
Yeah.
and peace out.
Yeah. They also, for sure, ran out of money. They were
Also,
like, they were like, we can't make another dragon.
And I thought it was funny that obviously dragon number 2 is gone. Dany's supposed to be heartbroken about this. She's standing at the wall, staring out, and I'm like, she's waiting for her dragon to come home.
Right.
And instead it's Jon Snow,
Right,
and I'm
she's
like,
waiting
wait,
for
what?
Bae.
Oh
She's
my
waiting
God.
for Bae.
You don't
I
care about your
understand.
kid? You care about Bae? Like this whole shipping Dany and Jon Snow thing, I hate it.
I'm into it.
I hate yeah.
I stand by firmly.
No,
Yes.
Jason has
it's
been
too
a long
easy.
time firmly.
Long time.
I wonder though if Dany's not being able to have kids thing will either that or once he finds out that she's his aunt will be a deal breaker
one
for
of them
Jon
has to,
Snow in a way that is going to piss off Dany or upset her or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's got to be something that's going to come between these two. They can't.
I don't know.
They
That's
can't
what has me
do it.
This is why I'm nervous. Everything seems so stereotypical average TV writing that
Right.
on such usually such a important episode that I'm worried we're gonna I'm really worried that Game of Thrones is going to go out on a whimper.
Yeah.
I'm really concerned it's gonna just be
Or maybe
typical.
maybe that's a Game of Thrones way, man. They underwhelm us for like a long time, and then they like come back real strong with the
Yeah.
next season. You know,
Maybe,
like
I
maybe.
suppose.
It might be a situation where they're like, we really
I mean,
know
this is
what we're gonna
technically
do.
the build
Yes.
up for
There's a lot of exposition to quickly get through.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
true.
To be fair, there's
Yeah.
a lot to like wrap
I've
up
got
and tell.
hope. Much
set
like the
up, yeah.
Arya Sansa debacle that I cannot stand.
I can't do it, bro.
However, I still have hope. We'll save
We'll
that for
get there.
later. Yeah. You know what? I gotta take this crown off too because I can feel
It's so
it slipping
heavy,
off
right?
my head.
Here, let's
All right.
split. Let's
so
swap.
the only other deaths were some random red shirts and then Thoros of Myr, aka Man Bun. Did more of the Snow-a-Side squad need to die? I hate to put this out there.
Yeah.
Tormund should have died if you were gonna do that gut punch. But man, I'm also so glad that he lived.
I know.
So yeah, I mean, like narratively, they set up this great moment where he's being overwhelmed and pulled in, and so if you're gonna save him, then you have to come back and blindside us with somebody else getting killed.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
if out of nowhere the Hound or Jorah got killed, you would have been like, oh my god, I didn't see that coming at all.
Jorah would have been funny. And
I
I'm like, you poor
Oh
bastard.
Yeah.
man, poor Jorah.
I thought because they were alluding to how many times what was his Beric died.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna actually see a moment of like Thoros in action where we think Beric is like dead and then he brings him back and uses his power one last time.
Yeah.
But then gets blindsided.
Yeah.
I thought he would go out in more of a bang than die overnight
Well, 'cause they went-
because it was cold.
They went to the trouble of saying without Thoros, then you can't come back anymore.
Yes.
And then he just is like, well, I'll just be alive then.
Yeah. Well, then I guess I won't die.
Oh my gosh. And the fact that he went out, the fact that Thoros of Myr went out, he froze to death in his sleep.
Yeah, doesn't he have fire? Can't he warm himself up?
Oh, so I have a problem. I don't have a problem with this because, he got attacked by a zombie bear. That was huge. And the only thing to keep him going was that they cauterized him with a freaking hot sword.
Yeah.
The man has had a hard night, guys. Come on.
I will say,
if he couldn't make it through below freezing temperatures and also with those injuries, my God, have some.
Zombie Bear was my favorite part of the
I loved
show.
how they knew exactly what to do. Beric and Thoros, he was just like, the sword again? Yeah, the sword again.
Yeah, do it. Give me the sword.
Well, there were multiple flaming swords, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah. Thoros had one as well.
Yeah, so that's a little bit more than what we've seen in the past. So I'm interested to know more about that magic and also how that's going to work now that Thoros is gone.
Why not keep those swords lit through the cold night?
Well, because it's running off their blood, right?
Oh, really?
That's why he's doing that. I thought he was slicing his.
Yeah, I think there's it's blood magic. Just sort of like the blood magic that was going on with
he had to bleed on this
Gendry.
He got enough
He's
blood.
got to bleed.
That's a lot.
You got to bleed a little. It's like a whole thing.
All right, so it was implied at the top of the episode that Dany might not make it. Did you think that there was actually a chance that she could have died?
No.
Especially not with that jacket. Whoever
not with
designed
that
that jacket.
bomb
Oh my
Sure.
gosh, Michelle Clapton. Slow clap for Michelle Clapton.
Fast
on
clap,
that
fast clap.
beautiful
mid-clap.
coat. I need that coat so badly. I can't wait to see all the cosplayers
hot
making
topic.
it.
Yeah, hot topic. Pay attention.
Yeah, you
Winter
can't,
is coming and I need
you
that
can't
coat.
slay like that. Like, you can't walk and slay like that on a dragon
my
and be
gosh.
killed.
And then get killed.
No way.
No, they're gonna want
so good.
They're gonna want to show that off a couple more times so that when it ends up in the HBO store, people pick it up. I know how this shit works. All right, so how thick is Jon's plot armor?
So dense.
I think what the real problem is that now that we're well past books, I feel like the showrunners are afraid to do anything drastic because they've been told by George R.R. Martin how everything ends up, and so they're like, well, let's just not kill anybody important for a while because, we don't know. And so they're saving it all. And so I never thought Jon was going to die. I never thought Dany was going to die. But there were so many people who could have, and it would have been thematically and character resonant, and they just are afraid to do it.
I think they're saving a lot of it for next week.
For marriage?
For the finale. They're saving it for
They're saving
marriage.
themselves.
Oh, such cute virgins on Game of Thrones. No, I think...
Who's a virgin on Game of Thrones?
No, literally.
Gendry, right?
Is he?
Gendry's a pure
Maybe.
virgin. He's a virgin.
Arya
Maybe.
probably.
Arya
Extra
is on the
virgin
show,
olive oil.
not in the books, which is like a whole thing.
Yeah, Arya, for
Oh man, no, they've all been fucked by life. I think that's really the bottom line.
There you go. Yep, there is no real
go.
virginity.
There's no
in
protection
this
from
movie.
getting fucked by life.
No.
No. All
Anyway.
right, so
anywho.
first there was the Battle of the Loot Train, and now it's the Battle of the Frozen Lake. Do you guys feel like the writers are being too literal with their battle titles?
I just don't.
I don't care, really.
Yeah. Next
fine.
question. That's
Although,
fine.
Battle of the Bastards, Battle of Blackwater, those are pretty on point too. So it's fine.
I want
Yeah,
them.
they're all
I want
names
an
of things.
episode that's
They're
just
literal.
called Battle of the Game of Thrones. I would love that.
Battle of the Game of Thrones.
Battle of Thrones.
Battle game.
The game of the Battle of the Thrones of the things.
Battle swords.
Do you guys think Gendry can run a sub 8 mile?
No question.
Yes.
Why was I don't understand?
That running was also so hilarious.
My
Can we
mind-
show that shot of him just
Yeah, my mind's
Look at
spinning.
him go.
Why did in that moment?
Such bad running, fake running.
Why in that moment of danger did Jon Snow turn around and go, "You're the fastest"? Since when?
How does he know? I met you all of 7 minutes ago.
Yes.
I know.
How do you know he's the fastest? Because he's the
also-
smallest? What?
No,
Yeah.
also, Jon is definitely the smallest, which we learned from Dany last night. But, also, he's Ned's kid. Ned is not exactly, the fastest. He was a big lumbering dude who just
He's
liked to
also
sit in-
never seen snow. He says it himself. Why send
Yeah.
the dude who's never seen snow through the snow back home? Why?
I don't know. Why didn't they? You know what? They could have just brought a raven with them. I wish
yeah.
they had just brought a
Why-
raven with them, so that when they knew, oh shit is fucked, they could just send
Yeah.
the raven.
Yeah.
Why did Gendry have to go back? Why weren't
Commence
they
plan
more
B.
forward
This
thinking?
plan was not thought out at all.
I know.
No.
This
The
whole
worst part.
time I felt like I I just felt I was watching Skyrim or like a D&D campaign.
Yeah, Gendry, you put all your points
Like
into
the
running.
pacing, like the pacing.
We need you to run.
The pacing, the weapons, the fact that the fact even that the Hound switches from his two-handed like broadsword over to like his dual wielding. Like I was like, oh, you just changed your skill tree. I get it, man. I get it. I mean, I don't know. I think it came like, listen, it's hard to ever watch a show like this and not compare something like a Dungeons and Dragons campaign to a show along these lines. But at the same time, I think the pacing of this game, the pacing of this show pushed it more towards making that a little bit more of an, in your face type of vibe.
Like, there's no way around it at this point. It's just everyone's kind of like putting their pieces. And,
But when you have like unique, cool characters in like a party beyond the wall, it's hard not to compare.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, so we did have a human death. Sorry, Benjen Stark, aka Cold Hands. Do you think there should have been a bigger death or more people die in this episode? We've already said yes, and also I didn't even really need him involved. Like, I don't know why he came out.
We don't know if Benjen's dead. We just know that he was getting attacked by a bunch of the army of the dead while he was swinging his little fire guy around.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily
His
think
incense
he's dead.
burner.
Yeah.
Riddle me this.
That's what they do in Catholic
That
Church.
is truly. I had that same. I was like, oh my gosh.
They pulled a Titanic. Like, why couldn't they both be on that horse? I don't know.
Oh my gosh! Did you guys see that? Somebody.
Because there's not enough room.
Oh my gosh! Somebody
will always
put that,
love you.
Somebody put that in the comments of my recap last night. One of our commenters, I wish I could remember who it was offhand, did a great sort of like "I'll never let go" Jack juxtaposition of the two, where it's like there was room for him on the horse. What are you doing?
Yeah. No, that was a good note. Yeah. Good catch.
Yeah.
That's
Don't
cute.
know why.
All right.
All they needed was one shot of Benjen. Like, who's that person with the hood on the? Oh, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's like it was Deus Ex Benjen all of a sudden. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, come on.
Guys.
All right. Will the Night King ride a dragon? Yes.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he will.
Oh snaps!
I think he's got a dragon. I think he's going to try to control that dragon. I don't necessarily think he's going to be able to ride that dragon.
and
Because
tying
you have
into your other.
Yeah, because you either have to be a Targaryen or a dragon seed, and a dragon seed is somebody who's like very close to the Targaryens and/or dragons in a special way.
Y'all don't know the rules for undead dragons? You don't know the rules for undead dragons?
Nobody knows the rules for undead dragons. We are truly in unprecedented territory.
Blue eyes
but
got to
actually,
stick together, you know?
I will say this, if you guys are looking for more information on ice dragons, Mikey Walsh, who is basically our Game of Thrones historian, did an awesome History of Thrones about ice dragons, and everything that George R. R. Martin has written about ice dragons, not only in the lore from the shows, but he also did a children's book called The Ice Dragon and stuff, and he pulled all of that information together, and Pizza Chef, it's a great article if you guys are looking for more information. Like, definitely check it out.
Awesome.
Ice dragons are traditionally much larger than fire dragons, which is nuts.
Yes, they're kind of translucent, and their ice is much hotter than actual fire.
But those are purebred ice dragons, right?
Yeah.
He's
a dead boy.
zombified dragon, white dragon.
He's a white icy boy.
Yeah.
Hey, that's like me.
It's like a lot of us here at the table, honestly.
Not me.
Yay!
Congrats.
Thank you.
We also got a White Walker rule change. Killing a White Walker will destroy the whites it created. How do you guys feel about this retcon? I think it's a little too easy.
I hate it.
Because the minute
really
that
hate it.
what's-his-butt pointed to the Night King and
Suze
said,
Barrick.
all we need to do is kill that one, I was like, there it is.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
it
Such
is.
a bummer,
That's the plot, man.
So why
There it
didn't
is.
y'all...
Thank you for literally spelling that out for me.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
So when Danny flew in, why didn't y'all point at the Night King?
Hey,
Yeah.
no, that guy. Get
Yeah.
that
Be like,
guy.
go get him!
Him.
He's bad! Burn him down! Why didn't that happen?
It's so annoying to me. I was so annoyed by that. Like, literally, Drogon was standing right next. He could have just gone like,
Oh yeah.
like turned his shoulder and gone,
Yeah.
and it would have been over.
And I don't think Danny said
I-
Dracarys one time during that whole thing.
Not that we saw, but I just, gosh, that stuff really, really annoyed me. Like, really frustrated me. The same with the chains, too. I feel like that could have been such an easy fix.
I did not have
Like,
a problem
it
with
could've
the
just been made
chains,
icy or
you
something.
guys.
I don't know.
Who's to say that? Why would they not have chains? Like, who's to say they don't have some dead blacksmiths that are making them chains, or like all the
I love that
the
they were-
Night
I just-
King's like assigning all those zombie
Maybe.
guys as
I
their
was into
thralls
it.
to like.
Felt real convenient.
It looked like a scene out of Les Mis,
I mean,
and
that
I was like,
was
yeah.
It really does.
Oh my God! I wish you had never said that because now
my
I can
God.
match.
Look at them.
Lay Wizarable.
What a bunch of nerds.
I mean, they obviously they obviously
Which one's Jean Valjean?
they obviously have a society. They wouldn't. They have rank. They have positions. They have clothing that looks pretty dope. Like, why wouldn't they have somebody to make them change? It's not like they've been doing anything back by the wall for however long, other than like killing shit.
I think they've just been walking for hundreds of years.
God, that would suck.
Imagine.
All right, just like wandering around.
Like the most lit place in Westeros is the Home Depot.
A bunch of people are saying that they just grabbed it from Hardhome because there was a bunch of chains.
Yeah, there's that too. Yeah, they could have if they invaded, they could have had it.
Okay, thank you, chat.
Yes.
I will concede that.
I don't have a problem with the chains. All right, well, let's move. Oh, jeez. Oops, I broke our cup.
Oh no!
Let's move into sorry. Some Twitter comments. At Go Amaris asks, will the newly revived dragon breathe fire or ice, and will Cersei's powerful fire be able to stop it? I am curious about that.
Ooh, yeah. I wonder too. With the wildfire, that could be an interesting matchup because I think wildfire is deeply unwieldy, but I think we're going to learn a lot about the capabilities of an undead dragon and what sort of things they shoot out. I mean, it could even be wildfire or something, you know, like we have no idea what this mother effer can do, really, and it's so thrilling to see. I don't know, but it makes me nervous about Cersei and the Night King. I kind of want Cersei to like team up with the Night King and become like some sort of like White Walker Night Queen.
Ooh.
That's what I want so hard. I want her to see the capabilities of the Night King and be like, oh no, I gotta get on that.
Cersei's got to go full evil.
Yes.
I mean, that would be the most savage move in all of
Right?
Yeah,
it would be amazing. And she's like, who cares about people being alive as long as he can rule them? Like, it doesn't matter about whether they're alive or
If
dead.
I'm undead, do I still get to bone my brother? Yes, I'm in.
Cool. She's like so down.
Yeah.
She doesn't care.
Okay, next one. The other big storyline was Arya confronting Sansa about Littlefinger's letter. Now, the two are still obviously teenagers, but are they just acting like the worst way possible about this? I have big problems with the Arya Sansa confrontation and relationship thing. I don't know how many bugs went up Arya's ass and died for some reason. Like oh God, I'm just so pissed about this, and I'm really hoping that with the way that Arya handed her the knife and everything, and I'm really hoping that they're acting this way because they just don't know when Littlefinger is watching and that they're really playing a long game.
Yeah,
I really hope so. Especially because what you mentioned earlier with her immediately afterwards sending Brienne away because she could tell that Littlefinger was trying to plant seeds of discord.
I think if you watch back that scene, I've watched that scene now with Arya and Sansa 3 times, and I watch Sansa's face while Littlefinger is talking. I think she really just needed, and maybe this is me being naive and just
she
wanting
looks like
sisters
she's baiting him.
She looks like she's baiting him. She's looking like she wants to wait and see for the moment that he kind of doesn't care about the Starks, and he made that switch very quickly with being like, well, Brienne could just murder Arya for us and everything's fine. And I think she's just sort of like, you're right, he's as fickle as we thought he was going to be. This is not good for the family. You know, we still haven't seen that line about the pack surviving, the lone wolf stuff. I really just want to see Arya and Sansa team up and murder the ever-living fuck out of Littlefinger next week. And if it doesn't happen, I will riot.
Yeah, if they stick with the storyline as this base level as it is, and they have like a big confrontation and things happen, or Arya does take Sansa's face, or whatever the case may be, I think I'll be done watching. I'm probably not going to watch the rest of the show. I mean, obviously depending on when it happens, but I'll be very disappointed about that.
Even if there are like I hope that they're planning to team up, because right now all it seems like is they're just throwing the strife that their entire family has gone through out the window. They don't care about each other. And it doesn't make any sense because for any family,
both sides are smarter than this.
Exactly.
Arya's smarter than this because of her experiences, and Sansa is smarter than this because of her experiences, and the fact that they're just like glossing this over is just driving me nuts. They're like, I mean, look at the first 3 episodes of the season. Like, Sansa was like, I know what Littlefinger's about. I know what his deal is. I know Littlefinger. I just
and then she's
can't imagine.
But that's the trick about Littlefinger thinking, no,
but
then
here's
you
the
don't.
thing. this show has put Arya and Sansa especially through so much. Sansa especially because they just love to punish like women that are traditionally feminine on the show. And I just feel like the ultimate nobody's gonna see this coming would be for them to win for once, because this show has not let Sansa win at all this entire series. So I really, really, really want to believe that is exactly what's happening. Be it Sansa on her own or Arya and Sansa having already teamed up and had this discussion and moving forward. I really can't imagine.
Can I just say
Dave and Dane would be that stupid.
really fast that Sansa is like, oh,
the faces.
Arya, I found your faces from Spencer Gifts.
Oh my
I got all
gosh.
your Spencer Gifts
Arya,
faces.
How weird
Arya,
is
you gonna
that
rob a
woman?
bank later? What are these?
Yeah.
Come on. I wanted it to be way more magical. That was such an
yeah.
The
underwhelming
worst.
reveal.
Yeah.
Like,
Those were
what?
really bad. All right,
hey,
wait,
cool.
I
Extra bad.
got a comment from chat here. Bruce Santora says Arya telegraphed portraying Sansa. I wonder can Arya copy Sansa's face and voice without having to kill Sansa first? I don't know how that works. So.
I still don't think we know. We still don't know
don't
how
get
it
it.
works. The faces, that could even be a red herring. Where like I don't know, man. I need them to give us more
Yeah.
with Sansa and Arya and the Starks. And also, where the fuck was Bran during all of this?
Oh, he's just out in
all
the
of this.
field.
Oh, just being
Bran would
useless.
know everything. Bran is the three-eyed raven.
Yeah, but
Bran could be like, "Yo, sisters, please stop fighting so that the Starks don't all die."
It
Like,
just feels
come
like-
on.
It really feels to me like everything is going so fast this season, and yet they're belaboring this so much. It just feels like they have to be setting up something. It can't just be Littlefinger's going to win again.
No,
no.
it's got to
Because
be he
it's got-
dies.
or-
All right,
It's
so
gotta be.
at Knox Gun wants to know, did Jessica Chobot flip her table when Arya came at Sansa? Yes. And why was Littlefinger not confronted? Hopefully, like I said, I'm really hoping they're still playing the long game.
Yeah.
All right, so at Mr. Kenny Jimenez asks, my question is, when did Sansa and Arya take stupid pills? The last couple of episodes have rendered moot their individual journeys of growth,
Yeah.
which is
Yes.
pretty
We
much
just gotta
what-
hope. We're just
yeah.
hoping
Exactly.
that
Yeah.
it's something else.
Yeah, I agree. They're hitting it so hard, like the nail so hard on the head,
Yeah.
but
To
hopefully that they are leading up to something.
To be fair, everybody has taken stupid pills this season.
This season is full of
literally
stupid,
everyone.
yeah.
Literally everyone.
That's true.
Yeah.
The night is dark and full of stupid.
Yeah.
Ooh, hot takes round and round.
All right, so let's take a quick travel back at Dragonstone. Does Tyrion want Jon and Dany to get together?
Jason does.
I think
sure.
Tyrion just wants Dany to listen to him.
Yeah, just
He wants Danny to listen to anybody who's like a logical, non-super emotional person.
That's the thing, right? All the powerful women in this are all super, super fucking emotional. They all make dumb
Yeah.
choices by
is-
being so emotional, which actually irritates the shit out of
Yeah,
me.
me too. Because guess what? That's not always a thing.
But she's not
It's
listening
always
to
a
Tyrion.
thing.
And Tyrion's plans have been real shitty. Case in point,
they're not-
Eastwatch.
That wasn't the, yeah, it didn't go
All right,
the
so he made an East botch. Okay,
East
he's
botch.
the East botch.
Welcome to the
but
club, Tyrion.
Everybody
But his
makes
logic
mistakes.
behind it was sound.
What, to go and bag and tag a white? Like, that would be easy. I mean, it just wasn't a good plan. I mean, the logic is right. I mean, yes, show the queen an undead person, but what was the plan? I still don't get it to
yeah.
this day.
It was.
Well,
I
because
have
it's
an
the only
idea,
way to
but no
convince
plan. That's what
Dany
it-
to
yeah.
focus towards the White Walkers and not focus on Cersei necessarily.
Or like, why not get, if Jamie's willing
Because
to take a meeting with
Dany's
you,
so emotionally
Yeah.
wrapped up in having Jon bend the knee, she's not listening to what he's saying. Because and so he,
Well,
like,
that
how
was
else are you
the
going to
one
convince
thing
her?
in that at the end of the episode she was like, I get it now. Like,
Well, yeah,
I
'cause-
needed
Yeah.
to lose this to understand blah blah blah, which
Right,
whatever.
right.
But I think this episode suffered.
That was
from,
just an excuse to get them to hold hands. Which,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Dany and Tyrion scene and the Arya and Sansa scene ended before they should have ended. Both
Right.
of them, they were like, no, there's still more you can talk about with this, but they're just like, well, the end of the scene, bye.
Yeah.
And it just felt like they're just holding it out because they have to fill time. That's really what it felt like to me. So like Tyrion had more points to make, but Dany's like, all right, bye. And then Arya would just like, there's still more you can discuss, but they're like, well, we're running long on this episode, so Arya exits scene. Like it just felt like they were wasting their time.
or they're saving it all
Or
up.
they're saving it
They're
up.
Saving
and
it
it's
all
just-
up.
But even then, it's just that's like a waste of
Banking the drama.
my time. Just get to it, or give me
I mean, I have Last
more till we
Guardian
get
to
to
play
it.
after this, man. Let's wrap this up so I can go play my game. All right, do you think Dany's being scared off of using the dragons after losing Viserion?
I hope a little bit. I think she needs, like we said, we were talking about, 2 episodes ago?
Well,
like
her ego needs to chill.
She needs to,
She got checked hard.
I don't ever like to tell a woman to calm down or breathe or stop being crazy, but oh my
But all
God.
those things to Dany?
Do all of
But
those
listen.
things when it comes to your dragons.
Girl.
Like, you have the nuclear option. You have 3 of them, well now 2, and you can't just go running around, because it doesn't matter what your intention is, the perception of actual people on the ground seeing this is going to be overwhelmingly negative, and I think that there is just something to showing them rather than using them that is just as equally a force of fear and power, sort of like what Tyrion was saying. Like, you can't, the dragons are pure fear. You don't want to just use that all the time for all of the things. It's counterproductive to actually being a ruler who wants to break the wheel rather than reestablish another one. So,
What do you guys think we're gonna get from a Tyrion Circe reunion?
Lots of vitriol and spite.
oh, so many sassy, catty back and
They-
forth.
I mean,
There's gonna be some good one-liners.
That is his
So much
arch
shitty
nemesis, right?
eyes.
Yeah,
that's,
yeah.
that's like since birth. Like,
Yeah.
she's bullied him since before he was born.
She hates him.
She tried to murder him, I think, when he was first born.
Yeah.
Even. Not great.
Yeah.
So I think it's not going to go well.
Do you think that Circe is going to be able to sit down and listen to everybody, though, or is she just gonna
No.
She's got her own plan
She
working.
has a plan that's like dependent. I'm gonna say this is probably gonna be one of Cersei's most brilliant plans. Whatever happens and goes down next week in the Dragon Pit, because it looks like we're going to the Dragon Pit. Which, if you want to know what that is, you can read more about it on Nerdist.com.
Oh, but I wanted to know what it was right now.
Oh, well, I mean, we can talk
what's the
about it.
Dragon
It's just
Pit?
like it's a very ancient place that used to kind of like how it was basically like a stable for dragons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it's there's some history with Rhaenyra Targaryen, who is actually the first woman who ended up on the Iron Throne, albeit briefly, and people didn't really think that she was legitimate. So, history. But I think that she's got some master play at hand that's going to be so savage, and I don't necessarily think we're going to get a bunch of death in the episode, but I think a lot of people will be like, well, we don't know who's alive now because everything's like in flames or whatever.
I think
So.
she'll execute the old king's plan for sure.
She's
burn-
gonna
she's gonna take the
mad
city.
Burn the
king
shit
it
down.
up.
Take the city down.
I wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
All right, so shifting gears a little bit back to Dany and Jon holding hands, and obviously the potential romance there. You know, she made a point to say that she can't have children. We knew she couldn't have children.
That was like a little test.
How will this factor in the greater scheme of things, if at all, you think?
That was like a little first date test to see,
I
like,
felt
you
like-
still in? Are
Yeah.
you still in?
That totally was.
Oh my god.
Yeah, here are my chips. What about your chips?
Yeah.
He's like, well, I'm a zombie. You can see all my stab
I also
wounds.
can't have children. There's no life in me, so
Oh yeah.
don't-
Good point.
I don't necessarily know if it's true.
totally was fishing.
What did I do?
No, I said she was. Dany was totally
Yes.
fishing. That's
Oh,
exactly what
she
Jason
totally
said.
was.
Exactly is what that
100%.
was.
She's like, would you still love me if I can't have your child?
yeah, I
But
can't have kids.
here's-
Just putting that out.
Here's the thing. She doesn't necessarily. This is all coming from Miri Mazdur, I think. Gosh, I'm so sorry, guys. I don't
What?
have everybody's name off the top of my head. Like,
How
I
dare
see
you?
so
Me
many.
neither.
I see so many things in the chat, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm trying so hard to keep all of this in track, but it's really hard. But Miri Mazdur, who is the one who called Drogo when he died, and she got the dragon eggs, and she was the mystical woman in Essos. There is a point, which was not in the show but is in the books, that she says that Dany will meet her son and Khal Drogo again when her womb quickens. So there is a potential that she could possibly, maybe because Jon Snow is dead, or maybe she doesn't necessarily. She thinks because of that she can't have children, but she actually could. It's not. I wouldn't necessarily say that she definitely can't have kids. I think she just thinks that she can. But also, like, what kind of kid could she have with Jon Snow?
bone
if it's
baby.
like
They're
an
gonna
undead
have
bone.
bone babies.
There's a lot of weirdness
my
that could happen here.
God.
Is all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Also, well, I thought it was a very interesting tie-in that that Tyrion was pushing so hard for her to name a successor in case something happened to her, and then she's just dismissing that conversation
Right.
So
altogether. But
selfish.
it's obviously like in her brain that's why she felt she needed to bring it up with Jon. Is like,
Yeah.
if I am your queen, I think she's already planning to like make him the
Yeah.
king. But if we
If
are
we
together,
bone, it's for fun,
yeah,
it's
like
not for
it's
long
not
term.
like what's the point of even having this
Yes.
throne in the first place if you can't have if you don't have anybody to pass the
Yeah.
descendancy to?
She's not looking for a husband. She's looking for an FB. You know what I'm saying?
Nah.
A fuck buddy.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Is that what you meant? I
Yes.
thought you meant
That-
Facebook.
That's an FB.
Oh,
looking for a
Facebook.
Facebook.
Yeah,
No, she's looking for
okay.
a
She
fuck
wanted to connect.
Yeah.
All right, so to Boyce14 asks, could the peace conference between Dany and Circe result in a trial by combat, aka finally we get Clegane Bowl?
Oh,
question
man.
mark.
Do we even know
I
if
guess.
the Hound is going to go with them?
don't.
We did, because he was
We
like,
didn't
all right.
see it.
Do you guys
Yeah.
actually
like, "Peace
care
out,
about
dicks."
Clegane Bowl anymore?
No.
I don't.
I don't care about Clegane
I
Bowl
regret the day that we
anymore.
came
I
up
don't
with
want-
that hashtag.
I don't care about the zombie Clegane. Listen, I'm sure they're gonna see each other because the Hound is probably the only one who has the balls to just like carry this white on his back. So I'm sure he'll probably end up going there. But I don't. If we get a Clegane Bowl, it's not gonna be like how everybody wants. At most, it'll be them fighting and probably calling each other, vicious words and then doing
can't
whatever.
talk,
I'm
though,
so over the
yeah,
Clegane
he's-
Bowl
The mountain
now.
can't talk.
I
Yeah?
know, but
He's
the
like-
Hound will
Yes.
say some
Yeah,
sassy
yeah.
things.
Oh.
He's going to say, you raped her. You murdered her.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm so over Clegane Bowl.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
We're done.
So other tidbits
that.
that we noticed.
Hey.
Oh, that was a good one. I liked it.
Which twosome from the Snow-a-Side Squad would you want to see in their own buddy comedy? I think everybody's answer is probably Tormund and
Beric
the
and
Hound.
Jorah.
Yeah. The most, for me, the
Those
most.
two guys that died that were total red shirts.
Exactly. I want to see that. I want to see the guys that were pulling like the sled of gear in the beginning, like have like a good buddy comedy before they rush to their deaths. I would
Yeah.
have loved that. That,
That back and forth between Tormund and
the Hound.
Was
Yeah.
perfect.
So good.
It was kind of the highlight of the show for me, to
was
be
pretty
quite
good.
honest. Like when he realized, like, you're with Brienne of Tarth, and he's like, well, not really, but.
Oh my god, it was so cute. He's like, but I mean, I'm gonna be like, don't even worry about it. Like, she
wanna-
looks at me nice. It's cool.
I want to see this footage recut to "You Got a Friend in Me." I would love, I would love that.
Let's put Matt on it. Matt, I'm sure you're watching us
Come on, Matt
upstairs.
Karen, do
And
it.
also, I love that the Hound's the only person who can make Tormund look tiny.
Yes.
I know.
yes.
He's such a big guy. It's crazy.
Look at these two beefy boyfriends.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
They
Give me
need to
more
hold
of them.
hands.
Ah.
All right, so do
Yes.
you think HBO's oopsie of leaking the episode actually ended up having any kind of negative effect when people
No,
tuned in?
I'm very surprised.
The people
Yeah.
that watched the leak were the people that were probably going to torrent it and pull it offline anyway. The people that will have HBO and are going to watch HBO, like myself, watch HBO.
It's become a weekly ritual. Like I get together with friends every week and we sit down and watch it. So like watching it beforehand, it's like I can, but
Yeah, it's like going to dinner.
It's so
alone.
underwhelming. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
That's like my night every night.
Oh God.
I always think about myself.
Damn.
It's the worst.
It's like going to Chuck E.
Thrones.
Cheese's alone.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
bad.
That's creepy.
Pizza for one.
Is Game of Thrones playing it safe, and could this season have benefited from having more episodes?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. There's so much.
They're speeding through so much
Yes.
to get to the last 6. It just really feels like
I
give us
believe,
another 3 and we would have had
You know, when it's done, they all get vacations.
If
You know,
you were
it's like when you're
yeah.
like have to go to the bathroom and you're fine holding it all day, and then you finally like see the toilet, and all of a sudden you gotta go right now. You know, it's like
I
you
just
can't
think
help
that like if you were smart, you would that Jon Snow dive into the ice lake. You'd keep that a mystery for maybe an episode or
Yeah.
2
Yeah.
more.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thinking what happened to him, and then maybe news gets to Sansa.
Yeah,
and
but
she's
then
like,
it was
Jon
kind of
Snow's
the
dead.
same thing as Jamie.
Yeah.
And it would have been a little bit of a retread of what he already did with the
That's
other
true.
season.
But there's
So,
still
but
some
there are
there's,
other
there's
things.
still some tension that really needs to be spread out
Yeah.
rather than just getting it all at once.
Yeah.
And,
And my big
resolving it
takeaway
all
is
at
like,
once.
as cool. I was so excited for this episode in terms of the Magnificent Seven getting together. It's like, oh, cool. Look at these weird 7 people. And narratively, there was no reason for any of them to be there except for Jon. He was the only one who had a narrative purpose there.
Yeah, it wasn't very clear
like
what
it could have been
right.
Jon and 6 red shirts.
Also, why did we not get an episode of them figuring out the shit with the dragon glass and Valyrian steel and
Yes.
getting Gendry in there? Because I am pretty sure that the reason Valyrian steel is magical and can cut through White Walkers is because there's actual dragon glass in it.
Right.
And the reason you have to get it so hot and why you have to use magic is to melt the dragon glass takes very, very, very high heat. But we know Tobomat, who was Gendry's apprenticer? Master, there we go. Master armorer could rework Valyrian steel. Jesse Gillen actually, and I did a video about this for the site, but they should have done more with that because that should have been what helped them
They
win
all should have had a
against
Let's be
the
clear.
White Walkers in the Army of the Dead. Like, I just...
Why did Jorah have 2 tiny knives? Why did that?
Those were Valyrian. But
That's
those
why
were
he was
Valyrian.
killing
Those were
them.
He's like,
either
I'm a
Valyrian or
knight,
Sax-
but I'm also a rogue.
But that's actually what killed the bear, though, because the
Because
bear
it's
didn't die from all
two-handed.
the other things. Like,
he had
he
Valyrian
had
steel.
It's
Valyrian
the
steel
shortest
or
amount of
dragon
space
glass.
you can have to
Yeah.
fight an undead thing.
And they didn't even give us enough, because like maybe that was dragon glass, like maybe it was an actual dragon glass dagger, but
I
they
think they
didn't
were, though.
show.
They were
didn't-
like black daggers.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And they didn't show any of that. And that's like, people want to know the how and the why behind the show. Like, why wouldn't you show that? Why wouldn't we talk about that? Why wouldn't, that's going to lead into more things. It was very
Why
frustrating.
not crush up dragon glass into dust and spread it all over yourself?
Yeah, and then you live
Why don't you
forever.
just hold that thought? At This Is My Clone asks, fine, I'll bite. 1, odds of Jon becoming the Night's King to end the long night that's coming.
Yeah.
2, thoughts on Arya killing Jaime and Cersei. I think she's gonna kill Cersei. I think Jaime's gonna die a different way.
I want my theory to still work. I want her to find Jaime's face and kill Cersei as
Oh,
Jaime.
as Jaime?
Yeah. That's a
good one.
that's a
I
good
I still
one.
want that to happen, so I'm gonna hold out for that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I really want that to happen. I used to think for a very long time that Jon Snow would be the new Night King. He might still end up being like King Beyond the Wall or something when all of this is said and done. Who knows? But I don't think he's going to become the Night King. I think more and more your theory about how Bran could
yeah.
be the Night King and how Bran is all Bran's through time.
Correct.
This is
Especially-
all Bran's fault.
It is
Always,
all Bran's
forever.
fault, and he's also the only one that can solve it, I think, is part of like the Three-Eyed Raven sort of thing. And also why there's been like some slight tweaks on the Night King's face. I don't know if this is like very
Different
tinfoil, like, I mean, maybe that, but also like I feel like he's starting to look more and more like Bran Stark, like his nose and the like sour, dour face.
I mean,
know.
he's got to have had some clairvoyance, the Night King, because he planned this. He wanted this to happen.
Yeah,
I mean, the
for
whole
sure.
show he's been walking around with an ice
for
lance.
sure.
Yeah. Right.
The whole
He-
show.
This is definitely I think this is the why this whole
might be
Bran is
real.
all Bran's
We might be
theory
getting
is
a
so
pizza party
real.
show about this.
We're
might be
definitely
real.
getting a
I want a pizza party.
pizza ice cream
And when
party.
we do, we're gonna call out PC War Machine for being totally wrong.
Hey.
Was there anything we missed or that you guys in the chat noticed or that you guys here on the table noticed that we should talk about?
There's that weird theory about his Jon Snow's sword, Longclaw. They're saying it blinked.
It
I don't
did not.
know. I don't think it did.
It did not blink. I watched that scene 3
Yeah,
times,
me
guys.
too.
It did
When
not
it came out of
blink.
the,
Why would that matter?
When he came out of the
Yeah,
water.
I didn't
That
see
he has
at
like a
all.
magic sword.
So
Why
some
would that
people
matter?
are saying, well, first of all, it is a magic sword because it's
Right.
Valyrian steel. But some people are saying because the pommel was made from weirwood tree, that Bran could be looking through the eyes, and that's why.
That's a pretty
The
good
eyes
pull,
thing,
though.
That's
it's
a good
cool,
pull.
but the tree is no longer living, so I don't necessarily think that works as far as the lore of
Maybe.
Game of
I don't
Thrones
know.
is concerned. I didn't see it blink. I don't think it's a
Probably
real
just
thing.
a piece
I'm
of snow
sorry.
that was falling, right?
Yeah.
I think it was like the light
honestly,
reflecting
yeah.
somehow.
Yeah.
people
All right,
read
so
it.
let's take a quick look at what's coming up next week. Give me that
Ooh,
song.
or you can look at us. Oh, there we go.
There is only one war that matters, and it is here.
It's like my house at Thanksgiving. Everybody shows up really irritated, but having to be there. Very stressed.
I think it's really
guys
funny
think?
that even though this the episode we just had really made me like upset and I was sort of like underwhelmed watching that, I'm like, oh, I'm back in. I'm really excited about the next episode.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see the Dragon Pit. I'm excited to see what Cersei tries
Yes,
to do
that's
to
what I want the
overthrow
most.
all of this. I think that there's a reason we didn't see Dany there. I think Dany is waiting in the wings with her dragons, possibly. I don't know why Theon is there. Why is Theon still alive? Like, there's
Yeah.
got to be something to that with the Greyjoys in general. It's just.
Poor Theon. I just wish somebody would cut him a break. A break. Nothing else. He doesn't need anything else cut.
They did cut him a break,
Just
and then he became Reek.
A break.
Yeah, I mean, why meet at the Dragon Pit? Like, I want to know why did they let Circe choose the location? I don't know, man. Lots of questions.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
Who's gonna have thought far enough ahead in advance to outplay everyone else's outplay of Cersei's
Right.
outplay?
These are the
like,
last-
what is this gonna be? It's a
These are the last
quagmire.
rapid fire moves of chess, for sure.
Yeah.
So next week's finale is clocking in at 81 minutes, which will be the longest episode yet. What do you guys think that we are going to see happen during those 81 minutes?
Everything.
All of it?
It's a lot. I think it's going to be a slower episode. Generally, the penultimate is always more action-packed than the actual finale. I think we're going to get a little bit more character work, I hope, which is generally what I like better. You know, like the Spoils of War and some of those other ones like that were really character heavy, I thought are the strongest episodes. So I think it's going to be a very slowly, tensely built, sort of similar to the Sept of Baelor thing, but you know, on a grander scale. I think we're going to see Littlefinger die. I think that somebody major has to die, or we have to end this episode in a place where we don't know who is alive at all. In order for this to have any sort of effective tension building to go into probably a 1.5 year long wait for the finale season.
We might see another naval battle maybe, because all the ships at King's Landing. I mean, Euron is there. And he needs to end this war to get his prize. So I think maybe we'll see some Euron versus their forces action. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
As long as Euron dies, I'm gonna be happy.
I just hope
I hate him so much.
I just hope Brienne and Jaime get to like stare at each other with that tense longing that they both clearly have for one another.
I hope everybody
ship Brienne and Jaime. I'm sorry, I love Tormund so much.
I want Brienne and Tormund. I think Jaime, while he appreciates, I think she's friend zoned with Jaime.
Friend zoned
She's
hard,
totally
for sure.
friend zoned. Yeah. That's a friend zone look if I ever saw
She
it.
and Jorah drink afterwards. They're like,
the two.
Brienne and Jaime all hang out, or Brienne and Jorah all hang out together.
yeah.
Aww.
That's so
sad. I want
sad.
everybody that I think is going to bone next episode. So hopefully there's some boat
Maybe
sex,
it'll just be an
you know.
orgy. Maybe it'll just be an orgy in the middle of the dragon
No, the
pit.
sand snakes are gone. That can't happen anymore.
No,
More orgy.
Alaria's still alive, technically.
Oh,
And she
That's
comes
right.
back just to organize an orgy.
Wait,
I'm going back in.
guys, Alaria Sand could play a huge role in next week's episode, because if we know for a fact that Rihanna.
Oh,
if
Rihanna's in this,
listen, Rihanna's actually the one true leader of Westeros. But if Lyanna and Rhaegar got an annulment in Dorne, that's information that Alaria Sand could know, and she could come into play with all of that stuff too. You know, maybe they send Tyrion to try and release
we'll
her.
see Sam
I
again
think
for sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, I
I
hope
think
so.
she's just.
Yes,
don't even know where
I
he
bet
is.
you. I wonder
We'll see
if
Sam
Sam's going to
again.
go to King's Landing.
Yeah.
There are so many things that could happen. I just hope it all happens.
Well, that's it for today's Talks Back. Be sure to watch today's Nerdist News, because we're breaking down what the Ice Dragon means for the future of Game of Thrones. We will see you guys tomorrow for an all-new Talks Back at 1 p.m. PST live. Have a great afternoon. Bye.
Bye.
Everybody's going to die.
Or